Hello and welcome to the Daily Comic and Collectible, episode 270. Now today, the collectible of the day is the Hasbro Toys, Marvel Comics, Spider-Man series, Marvel's Lizard action figure. Desperate to be whole again, geneticist Kurt Connors injects himself with regenerative serum derived from reptile DNA, only to find himself transformed into the monstrous lizard. Marvel is celebrating 60 years of Amazing Spider-Man with a collection of Spider-Man figures in retro designs. This 6-inch scale Marvel's Lizard figure is inspired by the classic Toy Biz Marvel Legends series. This figure features a textured sculpt and deco inspired by the lizard's appearance in Marvel Comics, featuring extensive articulation for dynamic posability. This on-card figure includes an alternate sculpted head, pair of hands, and 2 beakers to show the mutated geneticist at work. Created in 2021 and released by Hasbro Toys. Now the comic of the day is Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 313, with a cover date of March 1989, with story by David Michelini, art by Todd McFarlane, and cover by Todd McFarlane. This issue is part of the Inferno crossover event and is titled Slytherines. With Manhattan under attack by demons, Peter and his wife MJ take a cab to Queens to check on Aunt May. While passing through the Midtown Tunnel, the cab is attacked by a flying shark that rips the roof off the vehicle. MJ distracts the driver, while Peter ropes the shark and knocks it out. At that same moment, Kurt Connors at the Empire State University, struggling to keep from turning into the lizard, despite his best efforts, transforms into his reptilian alter ego. Peter and MJ arrive at Aunt May's home in Queens, where the invasion has barely been felt. Peter finds out that May traveled into the city to check on them. Peter panics and tells MJ to stay there, and Spider-Man returns to the city. MJ sits in the kitchen with her cousin, worrying about Peter, when Aunt May suddenly returns home, being sent back by a police officer. She asks where Peter is, and MJ tells May he had stepped out for a moment. Meanwhile, Martha Connors and her son, Billy, head into Manhattan in an attempt to reconcile their marriage with Kurt. A possessed police officer lures the Connors into the library and pulls a horde of demons from a card catalog. At that same time, in a parade warehouse, a giant Spider-Man balloon comes to life and goes on the rampage. At Empire University, Martha and Billy Connors are saved from the demons by the lizard. Seeing this, Spider-Man assumes that Kurt Connors willingly turned into the lizard to save his family. His attention is then turned to the Spider-Man balloon that is now on a rampage in the streets of New York City. When he tries to attack the sentient balloon, it flicks the wall crawler off its body. Needing something sharp to deflate the balloon, Spider-Man climbs up to the top of the Chrysler building and breaks off the needle. He then leaps down and uses it to poke a hole into the renegade balloon, causing it to deflate. Meanwhile, Martha and her son discover that they were saved by the lizard, so the creature can kill them himself. That's when Spider-Man comes to the rescue, knocking a bookshelf on top of the lizard. Promising to restore Kurt to normal again, Spider-Man takes his family to the nearest science lab. There, the wall crawler quickly whips up a formula that he used to cure Connors in the past. When the lizard comes crashing into the lab, Spider-Man forces the creature to swallow the formula. However, his willpower is keeping him from transforming. Recalling that the lizard's transformations are electrochemical, he rips the wires from the floor, preparing to use electricity to speed up the formula. That's when Billy Connors gets in the way, begging Spider-Man not to harm his father. This distracts Spider-Man long enough for the lizard to knock the hero away with his tail. When the lizard turns to harm Billy, he suddenly loses control of his arms, as Connors begins trying to regain control of his body. The lizard attempts to rip off his arms, confident a new pair will grow back in its place. However, his focus is interrupted when Spider-Man burns him with a Bunsen burner. This distracts the lizard long enough for his rogue arms to grab a hold of the exposed wires. The electrical jolt is sufficient enough to speed up the formula, allowing Curt Connors to revert back to human form. When Billy tries to run to his father's side, Curt tells him to stay away and crumbles to the floor. Later, after Curt composes himself, he's determined to keep his family safe and unharmed. He refuses to reconcile with his wife, fearing that he may become the lizard once again and harm his family. Before Spider-Man can continue his search for Aunt May, Mary Jane arrives in a cab searching for her husband. After telling Spider-Man that his aunt is safe, Peter is happy to hear the good news. However, he watches Curt Connors walking away from his family. He wishes this evening could have been a happier ending for the Connors family. At that moment, at Cassner County Maximum Security Prison, Jonathan Caesar is released into the custody of his lawyer, Malcolm Kinderman. And even in prison, he's been plotting his revenge against Mary Jane for spurning his romantic advances. This story is continued in Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 148. Geek Fact: Manhattan has been infested with demons due to the Inferno event. This story takes place during the first chapter chronicled in Uncanny X-Men, issue number 240. Bonus Geek Fact: This story refers to Peter and Mary Jane as husband and wife. However, years later, the demon Mephisto erased their marriage from existence in Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 545. As a result, Peter and Mary Jane never got married, but remain a common-law couple. Another bonus geek fact: when Aunt May returns home, MJ is in the kitchen with her cousin who is binge eating. This is a symptom of her bulimia. Her eating disorder is revealed in Web of Spider-Man, issue number 53. And final geek fact: Curtis Connors, the Lizard, first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 6 from August of 1963. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me for today's Daily Comic and Collectible, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. This is CatFan ComicsMan, and I'll catch you on the flip. Over and out.